Ichigo awakens by Talacha, chapter 63. Once empty, now filled. Orihime versus Loli and Melanie. Koten Sanshun. What's Orihime called out, splitting Tsubaki into six spirits that flew towards the two Rankar. Understanding it was an attack, the two used Sonito to trap Orihime between them. Loli was in front and poised to stab Orihime, while Melody was behind and ready to behead the girl. Orihime dropped to the floor, pressing her hands against the stone. Terra now! She shouted as the ground around her caved, causing the two Rankar to tumble and fall. The two just barely escaped the trap and put some room between them and Orihime. That bitch! Lolly hissed, trying to think of a new strategy. Our intelligence didn't say anything about her beyond having spirits on her side. Melanie said, wanted to talk some sense into her friend. She's not just a normal human. Orihime stood back up and glared at her opponents, almost daring them to make a move. Right, should have done this from the start, Lolly said as the two looked at each other and nodded. Poison, escolo pendara. Sting, Scorpion. The girls yelled and transformed. Lolly grew armor over most of her body, while her arms became like centipedes, long and segmented, and something a tad more unsettling from the way they moved. Melody developed a similar armor, but with a long scorpion tail and pincer-shaped punch daggers. The two insectoid Rankar glared at the exorcist before making their strike. Terra, wall! She ordered quickly, the spirit raising the earth in front of her to create a barrier. Ventus, let's get around them. And she told the wind spirit as they used their speed techniques to get behind Lolly and Melody. And she paid rapt attention as the two Rankars destroyed the stone wall. Lolly Centipede's arms seemed to be covered in a corrosive poison that ate away at whatever remained from her bashing the wall. Melanie was spraying her poison from the barb on her tail, but both made minimal progress from the spirit's reinforced rock. That's when Lolly screamed out in frustration before unleashing her Zero. Where are you? Lolly screamed out in frustration, scanning the debris to try and find her missing quarry. Melanie looked around behind them just in time for Orihime to charge forward and attack. Melanie managed to evade, but her tail was almost completely severed. Her screams alerted Molly, who swung at Orihime. The girl had no time to dodge and feebly rose Masamune to block the attack. The segmented arms slamming against the edge of the blade. The exorcist braced for a pain that never came, and when she opened her eyes, she saw Lolly looking in disbelief as her arms were now almost the stumps of their former selves. That was close. Orihime heard someone say as a more neatly dressed and tanned version of Muramasa stood in front of her, holding the Masamune blade. You have gotten better, Lady Orihime, but you still have some growing to do. I guess I'm still too gentle to really fight. Orihime sighed, looking at the spirit, while the Rankar screamed in pain. Let's finish this, Masamune, she ordered, flicking her and glowing with spiritual power. The spirit nodded as he charged forward. Aqua bubble, Orihime commanded as the Rankar got ready for a second assault. Before they could do anything, they were trapped in spheres of water, helpless before Masamune as he cut off the limbs so quickly that neither realized that they were hurt. Orihime stood before them as they glared at the exorcist, trying to kill her with their looks. The girl merely sighed. Shuno ayame sotin kushin, she ordered as the two spirits turned into their healing spirits and enveloped the Rankar just as Aqua's bubbles drained away. You betcha, when I get out of here, I'll... Lily tried to threaten but was repelled when her head touched the barrier. I really hate hurting people, Orihime said, sitting down in front of the two. That's why I need my spirits and friends to help me fight. Even then, I don't like killing, she said, trying to convey kindness. What you're in will kill you, but my comrades are not so generous as to spare your lives. The healing process was moving very slowly, almost as if it wasn't happening at all, while the pain finally registered to the Rankar. I insist you take Ichigo's offer. I'm not sure how long I can wait. A group of exquisite Rankar appeared behind Orihime and were quickly engulfed in a torrent of flames. My friends are waiting for me, and after all, she said with a smile that sent shivers down the girl's spines. Ichigo versus Ulquiorra. The air shook and ground trembled as the two did battle. The black and empty bat against the hybrid protector of former friends and now enemies fighting for their own reasons. Ulquiorra as per his orders, and Ichigo as per his nature to recover and protect his sisters. Those that could keep up with the two could see the pair flashing about in the sky over Las Noches, matching swing for swing and blow for blow. And to those that knew the fighters, something felt off about the fight. Come on, Ichigo, Ulquiorra thought as he swung his tail like a whip, only for Ichigo to duck underneath and into his guard, making him catch Ichigo's blade in his talon and kicking off the hybrid's chest. You have to kill me. We both know this. He dashed towards Ichigo, who jumped over his head and threw him down, sending Ulquiorra to the dome of Las Noches, while his tail smacked Ichigo in the face, which sent the hybrid flying into one of the castle's towers. The Spada rose to his feet while Ichigo had to pry himself out of the rubble of the collapsing building. I know my duty, you know yours, so why are you hesitating? He brought his hands together and pulled them apart, creating a long lance of glowing green reishi that burned with energy. Lanza del Relampago, he said before aiming and throwing the burning lance at Ichigo. Don't be stubborn, Ulquiorra, Ichigo shouted, shrouding himself in reishi before catching the lance in his own claws, as he was now covered in his hollow armor. I'm giving you a choice, live or die, me or Aizen, he growled as the lance burned in his hands, slowly converting and taking control of the attack. Why are you so loyal to Aizen anyway? He only uses people, he doesn't care about the Rancor, he shouted as Ulquiorra appeared before Ichigo again, with another energy lance in hand, giving Ichigo almost no time to block as the lance pierced through his armor and deep into the hybrid's chest. He made it clear he was different from the other Soul Reapers, Ulquiorra said, wrapping his tail around Ichigo's neck. You joined them. You are the one being used. You told me that yourself, that you were training solely to kill someone. He knew he would lay a killing blow on Ichigo, snap his neck, blow a hole through his chest, but he hesitated, and Ichigo punched him anyway. Punched him away as the Rancor reoriented himself. He saw Ichigo take the lance in his chest and finish what he was doing with the previous spear. He watches Ichigo took the unstable energy and solidified them into actual spears, almost as if he perfected the technique. He held up one and threw it to Ulquiorra, strong enough to reach him, but not enough to hurt him. The bat caught it and charged at Ichigo, who mirrored the action, going from fighting with claws and swords to spears. And when you stop being useful, he'll toss you aside. Ichigo returned, dodging a thrust from Ulquiorra while swiping at his legs and making the Rancor fly off. I am training to kill someone, Ulquiorra, someone stronger than Aizen, but not because I want to, because I have to. If I can't kill the man I'm trying to kill, then everyone is doomed to souls, humans, hollows, all of them. Ulquiorra pointed at Ichigo and shot a pitch black zero at Ichigo, who thrust his spear forward and fired his own zero from the spear table. I'm fighting to protect everyone I can. You stood by my side once before. Why are you so intent on killing me now? He shouted as the blast collided and exploded, destroying the dome of Las Noches. Because you chose to go where I couldn't follow. Chad versus Yami. The Fullbringer was on the defensive because nothing he did had any effect. Yami shrugged off all of his punches and overpowered him in every contest of strength. The main and only reason Chad didn't become a bloodstain on the desert sand yet is because he was too fast for Yami. With continuous use of Bringer Light, he was able to outspeed and outmaneuver the giant Espada. Not helping the Rancor was his own rage, making him predictable. Chad dodged around Yami's oncoming fist to land on his elongated back, where the Rancor's tail was coming down to crush him, and only managed to slam into his own spine. Yami yelled, feeling the aftershocks of his own attack. Chad landing at the small off of Yami's back, gasping for breath. Looks like the only thing that can really hurt him is himself. Sato thought, trying to think of any plan, any way for him to beat the Spada. His thoughts were interrupted when Yami's hand came out of nowhere nowhere and grabbed him. The Fullbringer struggled against himself, crushing his grip, but he was at Yami's mercy. His stomach lurched as the fist that held him shifted and brought him to the front before tossing him in the air and catching him again. This time right side up, so Yami could look him in the eye. "You've been really annoying, flashing around like that," the Spotter said, glaring at his prey as it struggled against him. "But I gotta admit, you've got guts just trying to challenge me like that." And Chad continued to squirm and struggle, slowly getting his arms freed. "As a token to your bravery, you can choose how you die." He managed to pry one hand out of the death grip and was working on the second. "But I'm also a little curious. Most trash run off when they face me or simply die. Why did you stick around? What makes you think you can fight me?" he asked as Chad freed both of his arms. "El Directo!" he shouted, shooting his fist into both of Yami's eyes, proving that they were still vulnerable. The Zero Spotter dropped the Fullbringer to grasp his eyes in pain. Taking his chance, Chad jumped back to get some distance. The same instant, Yami removed his hands, still squinting from the damage. "I'll be honest, I don't think I can beat you." Yami wanted to crush the arrogant bug instantly, but he couldn't deny his curiosity in what Chad had to say, something that he could use to push the trash to despair when he crushed the laugh out of him out in front of him. "It's obvious you're stronger than me, tougher than me. The only reason I'm still alive is because I'm faster than you. But it's not that I can't fight you, it's that I can't back down." "So what?" Yami asked, his vision getting clearer by the second. "You keep fighting because of some reason of honor. I made a promise to my friend," he explained as his medallion began to glow, that I would always have his back. The only way to stop him is to kill him, and I'd be there to keep that from happening. The sand began to shift away from Sato as his spirit seemed to change. "You want to kill my friend, stand in his way, threaten everything he loves? I won't let you, even if it kills me. I have to beat you, here and now." He looked up at Yami as his Ryotsu exploded into a pillar of light. "I still have no idea what this is, but now's as good a time as any. I'll tell Kisuke about it later," he thought as the energy seemed to turn into a liquid and take shape before turning solid. It had 4 arms, two Gigante and 2 Diablo. Had a mix of all colors of his arms decorating its form, and it had a pair of curved horns on its head. It matched Yami in size, and Chad saw through its eyes as well as his own. Diablo Gigante with Uryu and Tatsuki. There was only silence as the group let the Spotter rest while they removed all the bodies, and only after the teens confirmed the state of the twins did any tension ease. Yuzu and Karen were resting soundly in what seemed to be an induced sleep while the Spotter guarded them. Uryu thanking his father again for including everything necessary to be a doctor in his education. With the bodies out of the way, Tatsuki went inside to wake up the girls while Uryu got ready to speak with the Rancor, getting a Sprenger trap ready to blow them up if necessary. Uryu took the chance to look over the trail. The green-haired girl that still slept was clearly the spot of the group, but the other two were off. Their masks were completely obscured by their faces were completely obscured by their masks, and they didn't wear the usual white everyday Arlankar had. In fact, they were closer to Hollows than Arlankar. The one with the beetle mask had white armor on his chest, arms, and shins, with most of his body being purple and a loincloth giving him any modesty. And the one with the tiki mask was wearing a yellow bodysuit covered with black polka dots. It took every ounce of self-control Uryu had not to go into tailored mode as he finished his observations. "And thanks for not immediately attacking us," the beetle Pesha said to Uryu. "Lady Nell took the majority of the assassins, and she's still not in full fighting shape. It's some fraction we are," the Tiki Dondochaka continued. "We couldn't protect her back when she was in the third spot, and we still couldn't protect her now. Sounds like there's some history of distrust amongst the Rancor," Uryu noted as the two continued. "Lady Nell, all three of us really, we aren't fighters," Pesh said, taking over the conversation. Lady Nell hated fighting, only doing so for what she deemed a good reason, unlike other Sparta by the name of Noriota. Uryu nodded, recognizing the name of the Rancor Chad and Tatsuki fought. One day, Noritora conspired with another Rancor to betray Lady Nell, using Dondachi and I as bait. They tore off our mask and ambushed Lady Nell. Such a dirty trick, don't you know? Dondachi wailed, somehow producing tears. And we were abandoned in the deserts of Wakamundo. The beetle continued. For some reason, Lady Nelia was turned into a child, and we thought it best to let her live in peace, since she hated fighting anyway. But then Aizen reclaimed her, saying he had a new need for her and restored her as the sixth Espada. Lady Nell was loyal because Aizen was bringing order to the lawless world of the Hollows. Dondocha took over, and she took over watching over the girls because Aizen swore their safety. That ended when the exquisites appeared and said the orders were to deliver them to Sailor Ropo for experimentation. The Espada said as she rose from her slumber, her flash shone helping her up. I heard your companion Ichigo, I think, was trying to recruit the Rancor to his side. Is this true? Uryu nodded. It is. There is a greater threat than Aizen coming, and society has decided to make allies with the Rancor. Ichigo Kurosaki is to take the throne of Las Noches, since he is the closest thing to a hollow among the court guard squads. Will he be a just king? Nelial asked, narrowing her eyes as Uryu and trying to divulge the truth from him in any way. Don't worry, Nelia, they heard as Yuzu and Karin appeared with Tatsuki back in their attire before being kidnapped. Ichini will be a great king. Yuzu kept cheering, though he may want to punish you for being the one to hold us captive. Karin said with an obvious emphasis on the word punish. The result was a blushing Uryu and Tatsuki while Nell enthusiastically cheered. I'm in. Ichigo versus Ulquiorra. The fighting continued, wrecking the walls of Las Noches and sending devastating blasts across the desert sands. And still at a stalemate, Ulquiorra unable to land a killing blow, and Ichigo still trying to reach through to his old friend. The Rancor slashed with his spear, cutting off Ichigo's arm, while the hybrid countered by punching the bat in the stomach during his regeneration. Ichigo grabbed Ulquiorra's neck in a crushing grip, and the bat ripped him off with a hard strike from his tail. What are you holding back? Ulquiorra wondered, knowing that Ichigo was not going all out. He did not use any Kido, actually Hakuta moves. Quincy Arts just countered the Espada with his own prowess. As a hollow, I made my vow, and you must kill me to reclaim your sisters. I'm not your ally. He growled, mentally slowly losing himself to his more violent emotions, which Ichigo was not prepared for. Ulquiorra's strikes became faster, more erratic, less predictable, and more vicious. He knocked Ichigo's spear out of his hands and used the blade to slash up Ichigo's chest to ribbons before using his tail to throw Ichigo down onto the desert sands. As the hybrid flew towards the ground, Ulquiorra charged a zero to the tip of his spear and shot it down at Ichigo the second he collided with the sand. The blast slammed into the hybrid and caused a massive explosion. Ulquiorra panting from the effort and growling when the smoke faded. Ichigo still lived, and he was looking at the bat with pity. Ulquiorra, he called out, prompting the Espada flash in front of Ichigo and attack again. This time, Ichigo did not dodge. He just stood there and weathered the attack. Stop trying to change fate, Ichigo. Ulquiorra growled, slashing and pummeling the hybrid. This is the way of things. Soul Reapers kill Hollows. Hollows kill Soul Reapers. He roared as his hands broke with every strike on his enemy. I can't believe in this world you say you created. I only trust what I can see. He roared as Ichigo gave him a harsh shove, making the empty bat glare at him. Then kill me, Ichigo ordered, holding his hands out and displaying every vulnerability he could. If it is fate, kill me. Ulquiorra's hands tightened around his spear and let out a mighty roar, throwing the lance at the hybrid and dropping to his knees as the missile missed its mark. Ichigo said nothing as he walked towards Ulquiorra. He reached up to his face as he felt an unfamiliar wetness. Am I crying? Why does my chest ache? he thought as Ichigo stood before him. Ichigo, what is the heart? He asked, begged for an answer. I don't think I can really answer that, Ichigo responded, looking down at the spot. Everyone has a different idea. I think it's the force that drives a person to complete their goals, to feel for others, to achieve what a person never thought was possible. Ichigo held out his hand to Ulquiorra. It's what pushes me to defy your so-called fate and save you. Ulquiorra looked at Ichigo's hand and saw the small child that he once protected years ago. I see now. I was always waiting for you to return, he thought as he reached out to the offered hand. My destiny is to serve, but I found a false king. He freed my mouth and ears, but you gave me a voice and heard me long before anyone else. Aizen made me acceptable, but you accepted me before anyone. I am yours to command, my king, he said, looking up to see Ichigo smiling down at him, the same smile he wore when they first met him, and his heart sank as a hand erupted from Ichigo's chest. Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers, Karen's bad influence. Karen, tell Big Brother Oryu where you learned to talk like that. The Quincy cried out, holding the tomboy by the shoulders, while Tatsuki began to throttle Nell, while blaming her for the naughty language. Peshk and Dondochka freaking out about what to do. I heard it from Dad, she said, making the teens freeze. He said it felt good to be punished by Mom. I thought it'd help. Oryu and Tatsuki decided not to mention this to Ichigo, so they could kill Ishin when all was said and done. Rukia's off-screen adventures. The ice visor that stood across from the rancor, the right half of her face covered by a human skull-like mask, and wearing a green turtleneck dress, neither moving to avoid antagonizing the other. The rancor had a dead, broken gaze that told a deep story of pain and suffering. Rukia felt no danger coming from the rancor and decided to initiate the dialogue. Who are you? She asked. What are you among the rancor? The hollow raised her head almost as if she was confused. I am Roka Paramia, the healer among the rancor in Lord Aizen's service, she answered quietly, almost as if talking scared her. Are you not here to kill me, Shinigami? No, only if you try to fight. Rukia returned before realizing they weren't anywhere close to fighting each other. Aizen's regime is ending. Join us, and you will be spared. The lieutenant offered. Okay. Rukia immediately agreed, throwing Rukia through the loop. That fast. I am but a tool. It makes no difference who I serve. Okay. This girl needs therapy. Rukia thought, surprised that things went this easy. And I swear, if I don't get any screen time next chapter, I will kill the author. End of chapter 73.